Hi, I'm Kiwi,
And I'm Jared.
and we are the two gentlemen coming to you with the best of intentions. Jared, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. That was a good one. That was your best one. That was your best intro. Have you been practicing?
I haven't actually, but I do have great intentions this morning.
Yeah, good. That's excellent. I do too. So there we go. In common. Yeah, no, good, mate. I'm just out in the backyard at the moment. So yeah, apologize for the if you hear any birds or any background noise from the trees swirling around. It's a nice change.
I love it. I like the extra ambience. So you're sitting in your backyard in a basketball tank top. I'm sitting in my lounge room in a robe. So we can see that one of us can tolerate cold a bit better than the other, and it's not even cold.
Yeah, I can, but there is a little story that my youngest wanted to wear a basketball singlet. That's more like I got the girls' basketball singlets because I love the game, but I got him this one that's like light pink and blue, and it's actually a jersey one of the teams wore, but it can be worn quite well by the girls, and
Yeah,
they actually like them because of the colours. So I got him that, and yeah, the youngest doesn't get out of it, to be honest, and it's we're ending winter, or we've just ended winter.
yeah.
So it's been a battle to keep her out of it, but now it's spring. She's decided to wear it at this time of the morning and outside. So I'm wearing it in support of her. So now she's gone inside.
Well, you've both looked great. It was really nice having a chat with your daughters this morning as well.
Yeah. They actually, I told them about this last night, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have a chat to Kiwi." So they were up at 5 this morning.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, ready yourself. You good?
Yeah, I'm really well. I've had a great week. It's today is actually my 16th anniversary with Erika.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Very amazing. It's been obvious.
I feel bad. I feel bad. We do a podcast.
Oh, look, we've never really made a big deal of it. It's just always been one of those things that's like, oh wow, it's another year, and
Yeah,
it's always been amazing. And yeah,
that's
I'm
awesome.
very very blessed. And I remember you met her very early on, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was really nice. She just got on so well with everybody, and nothing's ever changed. She's just always been an amazing person. So yeah, I'm very very lucky.
He's an amazing person. I think we were helping move a bed or something, or move something from one house to another,
Yeah,
and she gave us ice cream, and then she went out in the backyard and turned up with a piece of mint or something that she
yeah,
freshly.
that's right.
I'm like, wow, this one's a keeper, Kiwi.
I know. She's just got all these special touches everywhere in life. She's amazing. So I'm very
Yeah,
lucky.
very lucky
Yeah.
man.
So yeah, a lot of great memories with her. And well, look, a lot of things have happened lately, obviously with COVID, but also people are moving on. People are dying. My dad almost died earlier this year. And it got me thinking a lot about, what do we take with us? And what we've got most, I guess, when I move around anywhere in life is my memories. A lot
Yep.
of this show is about us just reminiscing about the old times, and our friends are listening in going, oh yeah, I remember that, and sending us
Yeah.
a text, a little joke or whatever. And one of the biggest memories for me is holidays, especially with the family. And I was wondering, what kind of factor that plays in your mind and forming memories of your childhood and with your own family.
Yeah. So memories of holidays play a massive part in my childhood. I know we went to one particular place since I was 18 months old. And then we went every year, maybe twice a year, depending. And it was, well, early on it was once a year, but then we got settled, and I think someone in the family bought a caravan, like one of those stationed a caravan park, and
Yeah.
we stayed there all the time, and it was at the time, like as I got older, and I remember driving there in my car. So obviously,
Yeah.
um, and then family moved up there, like grandparents moved up there. So that holiday place became a big part of our lives until my grandparents passed, and quite recently, So it's sort of that spot holds a special part in memories, and holds a lot of things close to my heart there. So, and it's not that, like, it's a nice picturesque place by the beach, but it's not that exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And at the time where I was a teenager and then sort of getting my license. And so at that sort of teenage years, I remember thinking, oh, this is so boring, this is so boring. But I mean, I think that's just that time of your life. But I wouldn't trade it. And I'll always go back there with fond memories, and I'll take my kids back there when I can. So that to me plays a big part, and I want to pass that on to my family. With them growing up, I want to take them on as many little trips and holidays and things like that. And like you've touched on, especially with this current situation, it's kind of really pushed the point for me that this is what I might have made an excuse not to take them somewhere or do something that has a big effect in the long run. So I'm probably not the only one saying this, but from now on, it's almost like a line in the sand. It's like, this is where I'm, and we were talking earlier with the girls before we went on air, and you asked them about their favorite holiday, and I was there thinking, oh yeah, maybe Melbourne, where you went on a plane, where we went to all these places. And one of them said Wollongong. And I was like, oh, okay. We went there for a day and stayed there one night and went home. And it was terrible weather. It was, we had to stay in the car the whole time. We pretty much drove around, looked at a beach from a distance, had lunch at a beach and got really cold.
Yeah.
And then went into a hotel room and swam in the pool and slept, and then got up and got home. But, and you ask them why, and they're like, oh, there was a pool, and the beds were awesome. And, so that's awesome to know that just little things make them happy.
Yeah.
And the memories.
Yeah. And for our international listeners, Wollongong is about an hour and a half from where we live. It's an easy day trip. So that's why Jared was so surprised.
Yeah. We could have gone there in a day and back quite easily. But it was you don't have to be elaborate. I mean, a nice holiday somewhere to, great parts of the world or country or our country would be wonderful. But sometimes it's the simple things, really.
Yeah. And that's what I got out of what your kids had said. It's for us now as parents, all we care about really is what our kids feel. We could go to the most exotic location in the world, staying in a 6.5-star hotel if they exist. And if our kids aren't having fun, then it's not a good trip, is it? Everything just comes down to the kids.
Yeah. So technically I could, like you said, we drove an hour and it didn't matter. Didn't matter that it was raining or whatever, they were having fun. So, well, yourself, mate, obviously I told you that I went and had a lot of family holidays when I was growing up. Was that the case for you, or is that something maybe you might have had later in life, or what's your situation?
Yeah, I didn't have the same memories as you do. I don't have a lot actually from when I was a child, and it's not that that makes me sad or anything like that, but geez, it would have been nice to have experienced what my kids now experience. They packed so much into a very short lifetime. I remember going to Canberra for some sort of protest against the communist government in Vietnam. All right. So that was our family time in my family. Highly political. Anti-communist sentiment.
Did you get ice cream? Or?
There is a picture of me.
I shouldn't test.
There is a picture of me eating a bread roll or something. That's about it. Yeah. So as a child, I mean, I went to, I did a few things with my dad, but not as a big family. And that's something I'm really, really grateful for, that Erika's really always been focused on that and always making things special for our kids.
Yeah.
And talking about the simple things, though, my niece asked my sister, so her mum, what the best day of her life was. She said, apart from the day I was born. And my sister said, it was actually just by the way, my sister's been all over the world. She's been to Iceland. She's done everything. She's got a business that takes her everywhere in the world, and almost every continent, I think. But she actually said the last one we went on, which was back in April, we all went to Katoomba together. Now, for those who don't know, Katoomba's an easy day trip from where we grew up in Blacktown. So it's like 2 hours. It was not even 2 hours from Blacktown. It's about 2 hours from where I live now. So it's nothing incredibly exotic for us. It's a beautiful part of the world. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But for people who grew up in Western Sydney, Katoomba's it's nothing. It's just right there.
Yeah.
But my sister said that was the best day of her life when we all went out there. And the reason why was the memories, because my dad had basically just come back from the dead.
Yeah.
He'd been in a coma for, I think it was about 4 days.
Wow.
And the doctors at the time were like, look, we can't give you any guarantees. One of our best mates rang me. He was there that night that my dad went into hospital, and it was just like 1:30 in the morning. He said, yeah, your dad's not well. And it was awful. So we didn't know what was going to happen, and we'd already planned this trip before my dad got sick, and we were like, right, if he gets through this, it's just going to be epic. We're just going to have heaps of fun. And we did. It was just a bunch of people who love each other, just laughing the whole time. Everyone else was drinking wine apart from me. Kids were just having fun together. It was just, and again, it was just, stuff that we could have easily done at any time. We'd actually already just done it, our family, my immediate family. We stayed in the same hotel out there in Katoomba, and for my 12-year-old's birthday. So we did all that sort of stuff just a couple of months earlier. So it wasn't a big deal to us, but, to be together, I think that just showed us what really matters.
So that shows me, what I've suspected, it doesn't have to be, doesn't matter where. It really doesn't. And in fact, it just matters who, it's, and for me, it's a very recent thing, is that we, it's, you can't just take things for granted and just go, I'll do that next time.
Yeah.
You don't know, and you don't know when next time will be, first of all. And you don't know, you can have something planned, and then for whatever reason, the government locks down the world. It sort of really, really comes home, hits you hard to say that these little holidays that you sort of, you scrounge your money together to do it, or you save all year, or you plan, really mean the world. Even if it's a couple of days, it doesn't matter. Those couple of days, and for me, seeing my kids out of their element, so out of the home, out of their school, out of their sports teams, whatever, just away from their friends and reacting to different things that we don't see every day. I think that's actually really nice. It's a nice, it's a learning thing, but it's also nice to see that, they can kind of function away from the normality of what you've brought them up in.
Yeah. And you also see them grow in a whole different way, don't you? You see them play with complete strangers, exploring a whole new part of a beach that they've never been to before. Yeah. And that's so lovely and rewarding.
Yeah. It's almost, and it's an exploration together, because you don't see that usually. So you're learning as you go, and you're learning them learning, it's kind of like a cool little way of looking at things like that.
Yep. Another really great holiday we went on, we'd go on an annual camping trip up north around Crescent Head, and we camped for a while. The first time we camped for 12 days, which is a long time, I think, for camping. And when you first get there and set up, it takes us ages to get our setup right, because, if you're going to be there for 12 days, you need to be comfortable and have all the things around you. We have powered sites as well. But it's so special to see the kids know that they can handle that sort of thing. For 12 days, they're fine with that environment, and they love it. They love exploring the grounds, the beach just across the road. It's just so lovely to see kids having fun, I guess.
Yeah, watching their inquisitive minds just go through it all. But like camping for 12 days, wow, that's another level. Yeah. You got a fair setup, or is it pretty basic?
It's not bad. Yeah, Erika's got a great vision, and she makes everything feel like home. She's amazing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good. Yeah. No, look, that's something that we've got some gear, and I mean, by no means is it enough to have a family for 12 days somewhere, but we do have some gear and things like that, and to camp, but we've never brought it out. But like I said to you just then, like, I don't think I'm going to make an excuse anymore. Like, even if it's camping for one night, just to see how we go, and then maybe go for 2 nights, and then and that's fun, that sort of stuff. So But yeah, what about so holidays with kids are one thing. I mean, I went on holidays before kids. BK. That like before I was married, before I had kids. I went on holidays with my wife before we were married. I went on holidays with mates. I did a lot decent amount of traveling around Australia, in small doses.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Did you and Erika get out and explore a little bit, or did you do something yourself? We never really had the early.
I did before Erika. I went to Egypt, which was my dream. We were actually there at a very similar time before we even knew each other, which is really cool. But that's one of my regrets with Erika, that we never traveled together before we had kids. And she introduced me to skiing as well. So it's like, oh, that's a perfect activity to do before you have kids, because with kids, it can be hard. So that's one of my regrets. But you know what? Like, just talking to you now, I kind of feel like, it's not about the holiday. It's about the memory creations. And you remember those big set pieces, at home, day to day. Like, just talking to your girls earlier, we were talking about how you put the air mattresses in the lounge room, and that's something that they'll remember. They might not remember that, oh yeah, you used to wake up every morning at this time and have, this cereal. It's all the day-to-day stuff that forms a foundation, which is so important. You don't remember it. You remember the really big set piece. You remember the try that was scored in the game, not the fact that the forwards laid the platform by, making 10 meters every hit up, and the quick play the ball. No one really spots that. It's really like, oh, wow, that winger put down that ball in such a spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
And it's the same with what a holiday does for you. And I think, for me now, it's really about conscious creation of memories for my kids. I really want to just leave them with all this cool stuff so when I do die, they can look back and go, oh, I remember when Dad did this, and he said this silly thing, or he fell into this when we were on holidays or whatever. That's what I want. I really want them to
put the 10 up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
I don't think I've heard you swear much, but lately or at all, I can't think of one. But surely putting a tent up and taking 2 hours on your that would bring out some swear words, surely.
You know what? We're pretty good at it now. We're like it's like a little military operation for us.
You got your operation. You got your duty.
Exactly. Yeah, we know what to do. And it takes years to figure out, because we only go on one camping trip a year.
You forget.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you put it somewhere where you don't need, and then it takes a bit of time to. It's like putting up the Christmas tree. It's why didn't you do that again? Like,
how often do we do this? Is it once a year?
I actually, when I was living with my brother, we just left the tree up all year for about 3 years.
Are you serious?
Not that long, but yeah, it was a fair chunk of time. I think when I started seeing Louise, that was the time that she was like, "Why is the Christmas tree up in like April?" It just looked, we had to, anyway, had to store it somewhere.
I know. I wonder what the cutoff is, actually.
There is actually a thing, and I don't know, it's like you put it up on the 1st of December. Got to take December, so you've got to take it down before, like on the 31st, like before.
Really? Is that it?
I think there's it's a month. I know the Christmas lights start coming out before then, though. I know you see them around on the houses and things like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of like that was just a family thing. I don't know how real it is, but I remember, Mum telling me it was December. That was it. I mean, it's not that inventive. Like, it's just the month of Christmas, but it was like a good luck thing too. What do you call it? But anyway, it was that was just our thing. I don't know. It was all through our family, so. I don't know if it was our family or if it was a widespread thing.
Yeah, right. Ours was when someone goes, I reckon we should probably take that down now. Whatever date that is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think you can take it down I don't know. I think you can take it down any time, really, but as long as it doesn't exceed January. But,
right.
Probably, I don't know if it's a superstition or an actual
just
rule.
Common sense.
Yeah, well, not for our
workplace health and safety.
Yeah,
Jared, we've been talking a lot about family holidays and what that brings up for us. Like, for example, your childhood. You'd think back and you think of your grandparents and this really special place. When I think of my family now, it's that last trip to Katoomba that we all took. with everybody together. We've done some really awesome trips as well. Apart from that, we all went to Singapore together for my 12-year-old's 10th birthday. It coincided with my brother's 40th.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was just epic. We all went together and just had this great time in another country. But what about, when we think about our friends, when we think about all the good times with our friends, again, it's the big set pieces, isn't it? It's not, we went to school together. It's like, we did this big thing.
Yeah.
And is there anything that stands out for you that you did with a friend? Because, one day you might be the one delivering the eulogy and you'll be thinking about this sort of stuff. And sorry to make it a little bit macabre, but it means a lot to me to think about what the funeral will look like.
Yeah, honestly, I've been lucky enough to have a lot of holidays with friends, and it started like when we were 16. Like don't even know how this occurred, but we ended up going away. There was like 6 or 7 of us, and like we went to Coffs Harbour, which is like an 8-hour drive. Like, and we were on the train. We caught the train. Like, we didn't have our licenses, but our parents took us to the train station and let 16-year-olds go off and stay in like a resort in Coffs Harbour. And that to me, I remember that. It was like like you said, it was that and we weren't bad kids. Like we didn't do anything wrong. We weren't there to be partying. We just literally wanted to go to Coffs Harbour. But and that to me is a memory. Like, I can barely remember what we actually did there.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that we did it.
Yeah.
And and then I think we tried to recreate it around the end of year 12. That might have been the time you went to Kingscliff.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And they never really worked, but we still went and so like I said, I don't remember what we did or but I remember the occasion. But moving fast forwarding, a good friend of ours, we've traveled quite a bit. So we've driven across to Perth. So that's the whole one side of Australia to the other.
Yeah.
And we did the drive. And within that drive, we had many, many moments. And, again, you forget them, but you get reminded. Like, he'll bring it up and like, oh, yeah, I remember that,
Yeah.
And then that same friend, we actually drove to Ayers Rock and up to like Uluru, and then drove up to Darwin, and then come back down and drove. Yeah, we did it was like 2 weeks of solid driving. We didn't stay there for a long time, but yeah, so we had a bit of an adventure, me and that mate. So we spent a lot of time in the car together.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like, I can't tell you what places we stopped at every night and whatever, but I can tell you we did it for 14 days, like we traveled, and it's something that I'll have, that time. And I can always say to someone, oh yeah, man, we did that, or, you've got to do that because I've experienced it. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
And that's something you get to bring with you everywhere for the rest of your life, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, when the time does come for us to start saying goodbye to one another, because it's going to happen. Let's be honest, and let's not take things for granted anymore. At least we've got that. At least we've got that memory of that friend. And that particular friend, I went away with him as well when we were 17. We went to Melbourne together to watch the tennis.
Yeah.
We wagged the first week of school to watch the Australian Open. And we had a great time together. Again, we weren't naughty kids or anything. We honestly were just two guys who were sports nuts and went down as 17-year-olds to watch tennis. And we just had a really good time together. And something that really stuck out for me is he said to me, usually when I spend much time with someone, I get really annoyed with them, but I really like being with you. And for a 17-year-old boy to say that to another 17-year-old boy is a pretty big deal, I think. And, we've been, basically brothers ever since.
Yeah.
We've always been there for each other. So it's been really nice. And just to connect with someone like that at a young age, and it just set this foundation for a lifelong friendship.
Yeah, I think he said the same thing to me too. So it was a bit of a compliment that we were able to spend, 14 days in one trip and maybe another 6 or 7 in another trip, or in confined spaces, able to not pull each other's hair out and kill each other.
Yeah.
But no, he's a pretty good travel companion. So And a couple of those holidays have been pretty good. And yeah, look, as adults, you forget, like you said, you kind of forget more than you remember. It's just the big moments. It's the big moments that really stick out.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm really blessed that I've got enough good memories of everybody to be able to reflect when the time comes. Really.
Yeah, totally. I think, and it's, it just sort of dawned on me, like, everybody looks at things differently. So if I was to sit in the same room with that person and say, "Oh, what did you enjoy most about that trip?" We'd have different aspects on that trip, right? So you look at it with the whole kid thing. You're taking your kids on holidays, and you're like, well, I as Jared are going to say, all right, let's go to the beach. Let's go and have fish and chips for lunch. Do all the get some ice cream and go for a swim and do all the things you're supposed to do when you're on holidays, right? But they're just happy there was a pool at the hotel.
Yeah.
And so it kind of shows that it doesn't really, like, what makes a good holiday or what you think makes a good holiday is a little bit different to everybody, but I think it always comes back to how you remember it.
Yeah.
Whether you went to the beach was the exciting part, or whether you found a shell at the beach, that sort of thing, or whether your ice cream, tasted really awesome. You can get awesome tasting ice cream at home, but maybe it tastes a little bit better, with all that put together. So yeah, it's all about the memories. It's not necessarily the, it's how you perceive them anyway. We all perceive it differently.
Yeah. I just want to reflect on one particular tiny little holiday we went on, and this was February 2020. We just stayed in a hotel in the city for my son's 11th birthday. And, food was great. We had a great time. And at the time, there were signs around the hotel saying, if you've traveled from China recently, and all these warning signs, and we had no idea what was about to come.
No.
Not at all.
You're blissfully eating your breakfast at the buffet.
Yep, exactly.
When there was buffets.
Exactly. There were buffets. And we were like, oh, Erika, we'll come back here in July for your birthday. We'll have another buffet. Yeah. And, it was one night that we stayed there, and we came back as if we'd been away for a week. It was that refreshing. Yeah. And then the world just changed.
And it's still, I know.
And it'll never change back.
No, I don't think buffets are going to exist anymore.
Which is terribly sad. No, I love a good buffet.
Just pile your plate up with as much food as you can and then go back again.
Mate, the place we stayed in Singapore had Indian food for breakfast. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was having like roti and all this sort of stuff at breakfast. I had 3 breakfasts the first night. Seriously. I couldn't believe it. And, after that, you kind of realize, oh, I don't have to eat everything, just because it's there.
Yeah, 7 days in.
Yeah, exactly.
14 kilos later.
But yeah, just that little trip in the city just drove it all home, like what was to come and, what the world is like now. And just, oh gosh, we were lucky.
Yep. And it just we're all going to have to adjust and to whatever the new normal is going to be. But, and it sounds like it's going to be a changing thing, but once we do that, these I'm jet setting, not jet setting. I'm getting in the car and going.
Yeah.
Like now that I can't leave my house or leave anywhere, that's the, to me, that's my goal once all this happens.
Yeah.
Once all this clears up.
Yeah. It's funny. They were dangling the carrot of international travel as the reason why we should get vaccinated. And Erika made the point that I just want to get out of the house and see loved ones. I just want to see my parents. Right. And I feel the same. Like, I'm not allowed to go to Blacktown. It's one of those LGAs in lockdown. Yeah. And I was talking to one of our best friends, and the 4 of us have all been double vaxxed. And as soon as these restrictions are lifted, we have to get together. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, quite simple. I chuckled when they said that, when they had the we can go to London. I don't want to go to London. I just want to go see friends. I want to go see my brother. Like
5.1 kilometers will be enough for me.
Yeah. So, and I think and it just reminded me. I read something really in passing on social media somewhere, and I think it was just a a business trying to get people's interest. But essentially they wrote, what would you want to do once this is over, and they had something like, I didn't read them all, but there was like 1,000 comments. And I read, a good sort of 20 or 30 of them. Every one of them, hug my parents, see my family, and I'm like, no one wants to bloody travel, mate.
Yeah.
People just want human connection with the people they love. So, see my friends, things like that. So it's all about memories. Yeah. It's not about where you go.
You've nailed it, Jared. It's about human connections. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, well, look, let's not take this for granted. I think the best thing that could possibly come out of this whole lockdown situation is knowing that, hey, we don't have all the time we think we have. We had all the plans in the world and they were completely derailed by who knows what happened, what the origins of all this were. But we know that this can happen at any time. It could have been a meteorite, it could have been anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just make the most of what we've got. I've talked to my kids about death a lot, and we say, look, don't be sad because someone's died. It's the only reason you should be sad is if they didn't make the most of their life. Yeah. And, that's why I say to them, look, let's just, make the most of what we've got at every time, at every moment we can, every opportunity. And then, when I do die, when they, are at my funeral, they can look back and just laugh and they can have these memories.
Yeah. No excuses. I think that's what I got out of it. We get no excuses. We just do it. Just don't wait.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, mate.